Oh, yeah. Let's freaking go. A great day for Tennessee basketball, men's and women's. Even though the men didn't play today, Frank Rock got his wish, and he cannot wait until Friday. But Lady Vols rolling on tonight. Final score 82-67. Ohio State 16-0 at home. Coming into this game, they leave 16-1. Kerry Williams, what are your thoughts on this one tonight?
I mean, that was, I would definitely say that was a better game tonight than what we saw last night from the men's. Tonight's game was it was awesome, especially that third quarter. Like looking back on it, I get that was totally nerve-wracking and a total crap show, you could call it. It was all over the place. That was an awesome quarter. Like the third quarter, just as a basketball fan, that was as best as it's going to get. It was just two teams. They were dogfighting out there. They were scrapping each other, and each team, Tennessee got out to the huge lead. They brought it out to like 17 points. Ohio State goes on a 19-0 run, which is just an incredible run for them. They take the lead by 1 point. Tennessee bounces back, kind of grows out the lead a little bit. Fourth quarter starts. Tennessee basically at that point had Ohio State gassed. Like Ohio State, in the fourth quarter, Ohio State, they looked slow. They kind of looked like how we looked like whenever we made the trip up there in football in the fourth quarter. Like they just looked entirely wore out in the fourth quarter. So Kim Caldwell's offense and defense, like it tore them apart late in the game, and Tennessee ultimately drug it out to a 15-point lead, hit some huge shots in the fourth quarter. Overall, just an excellent win in year one for Kim Caldwell.
Yeah, that third quarter, man, was just.
I know it was
wild. It was wild because I'm thinking we're getting ready to blow them out of the building. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's like, didn't they take the lead? There's something like by a point or so, and then the Lady Vols. It's like they got a wake up call, and then they took off and went there again. Kyle Beach, he echoed yours. He said that was one of the craziest third quarters I've ever seen in my life.
In any sport.
Yeah. Cotton, Sweet 16, baby. I got to hit this one. I was texting with Tim earlier. Happy for Coach Kim and the ladies. Big accomplishment for a first-year coach. Got a shout-out Tim. He's Tim, not Kim. I'm sorry, Tim. Got a shout-out Tim. His boy Andy plays middle school baseball. He gets the ball tomorrow. Got the text now. He texted me, said, Andy gets the ball tomorrow. So, Andy's putting in work. He's doing good things. Just be patient, keep working. He's at the middle school level, gets to high school and above. The best things are ahead at this level, man. Just keep on learning, keep on doing your thing. Really proud of you, Andy. Excited to see when Tim texts me tomorrow night, see how it goes on that. But congrats to him on getting the ball tomorrow on that. Papa J was texting Papa J a little bit. He said, good Lord, can we not play blacktop ball a few games? There's definitely some moments that we play some street ball with Lady Vols. There is absolutely no doubt about that. Kyle says, how about them Lady Vols? Great time to be a Vols fan. Man, I'm fired up today too because I'm going to kind of interact a little bit, but how you feeling about getting Kentucky on Friday?
I love it. I think that's awesome. Like that's just we get that rematch with them. We get probably another rematch against Texas as well in a game where Kim Caldwell had to sit that one out because she was giving birth. So props to her for doing that. And Tennessee against Texas in that game, Tennessee was in a very good position to win in that game. So I know they played that game with a chip on their shoulder, just considering the circumstances. And I know when we see them again, we'll get that chip on their still have the chip on their shoulder and hopefully come out better against them this time because I'm sure they'll beat Illinois tomorrow. I just don't see Illinois beating Texas. So I would assume we'll play Texas in the Sweet 16. And that's a revenge. Men's and women's both get a chance at revenge. So it's pretty cool to see what's going to happen in the Sweet 16 next weekend.
That's right. There's a potential path for the men to get revenge on Kentucky and Purdue. Yep. Mike Wilson, Knoxville News Sentinel today said Tennessee wasn't a Barnes era. Tennessee and Kentucky have played numerous times, 3 times, and neither team has won all 3 of them. So, Lady Vols, like you said, man, Ken Caldwell's out. I mean, she kind of can't help it.
Yeah,
On that
nothing
one.
you can do there.
Yeah, she's out giving birth on that one. Jenna Burdett took over, did a great job in that game, 80-76. Lady Vols get another chance at it. That will be in Birmingham, if I'm not
I'm not sure.
mistaken.
I didn't. I
Could
was
be.
trying to listen to see if I heard where it would be, but I didn't hear anything, unfortunately.
The way I've read the brackets is 2 of the regionals will be in Spokane, Washington. 2 of them will be in Birmingham, Alabama, which I've not seen before. It's an interesting concept. So, and that's when they announced the brackets, because they said like Birmingham 2 and 3, and I was like, wait a minute, what's up here? So, Lady Vols could have a home court advantage in that one. Birmingham not terribly
Not too
far from Knoxville. Might be able to make that trip, but yeah, that's one to me. I mean, Lady Vols are the 5 seed. They're really the 5 seed because of the last week. They were, let's see, wasn't it Kentucky and Georgia losses the last week?
Pretty
Isn't that
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were like a 3 seed coming into that week. And then after the Kentucky loss, and then the Kentucky one, I mean, you kind of, it is what it is. The Georgia loss was the bad one. I think that's really the one that put them out of hosting. But hey, sometimes your sweetest wins is when you go to another opponent's court and end their perfect record at home on that season, which I take a lot more pride in that than winning at home. I don't know. That's just a lot cooler for me. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to try to hit a lot of comments here. What's up, Anderson? Before you ask about Tennessee gym, do you know why Tennessee does not have Tennessee gymnastics? Anderson asked me numerous times, and I don't know the answer to that.
I wouldn't know a for sure answer. My only thing would possibly be the number of sports a team can have or university can have, because you kind of have to have
Title
even
IX,
playing
possibly.
board. Yeah, you could, if like they added a gymnastics team, they may have to add a men's team. That's my understanding of possibly what could be the reasoning. Which there is possibilities to do that. Like you can make the hockey team official. You could add a men's soccer team. You could add a ping pong team. Like it just anything to kind of even out the playing field if they did that.
Yeah,
it would make sense. I would kind of wish they would. I mean, it would be nice just because a lot of other teams in the SEC do have a gymnast team or a gymnastics
yeah, it's
team.
kind of thank you. So that's a good answer, and I mean, there's a lot of you get in some of these sports that are not as mainstream, and not every school has them. So makes a lot of sense more if it's Title IX, because they do have to even out along the way as well. I mean, there are like Furman down here, which is close to me. Furman, Presnell, Elizabethton's baseball coach, or used to be, played for Furman. Furman doesn't even have a baseball team now, and used to have a pretty good baseball team, from what I gather. But sweet win tonight. What's up, Moondrops Beauty? Let's go, Lady Vols. Sweet 16 bounty looks so locked in, and I was a little concerned the first 5 minutes or so they dominate despite the refs. There were some interesting calls for sure tonight. Not the best start for this team, but I felt like that Ohio State shot the ball really well in the first quarter.
They did.
I didn't feel like the Lady Vols played really well. We ended the quarter 21-17. At that point, Papa J and I were texting. I said, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
Here, the fact that we got out of that 21-17. And Papa J in here, what's up, man? Revenge for football. There we go. We'll take it. Great start for Kim Caldwell. Sweet 16 in the first year here. Even if for some reason they would have lost tonight, I still think it was a really good season a long way. But the good thing is they didn't, and they've got a shot to play Texas. If this team plays their best, hitting threes, playing defense. How far can they go?
Of course they can go all the way. I mean, they do have every capability of making a Final Four. I don't know if I would stretch it as far as saying winning a national championship, just considering the insane levels there is of college women's basketball. And it would take Tennessee. I'm not saying Tennessee just absolutely, if they make the Final Four, they can't win a national championship. It would be a tall, tall task for Tennessee to do that, considering just everything of the other teams we play. They've had rosters built for years upon years upon years, and this is Kim Caldwell's first year. So you make a Final Four, that's like so beyond my imagination, and I'm sure many people's imagination of what Kim Caldwell would do in her first, or not just her first year, in probably the next 2 or 3 or 4 years. So to do that, which is looking like a really capable possibility of they can make the Final Four, that'd be a huge accomplishment. Kind of put the program back on the mainstream, kind of in that way of, we know, of course, being around Lady Vols basketball and Lady Vols athletics, we know the brand, but not too many people nowadays know about the brand.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to put us back on the mainstream market for that. But overall, I mean, they can't beat anybody. They beat UConn. They had the huge losses, or not the huge losses, the close losses to start SEC play. What was it? Oklahoma and then South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. Both those games were really close losses. So you can compete
LSU.
with, LSU. You can compete with any team, and it's just a matter of having to finish it, finishing the game. I think Tennessee can compete with anybody in women's basketball. It's just a difference of taking the next step of possibly playing in a national championship game and winning that. But I do for sure think that Tennessee has every capability to make it to the Final Four and compete.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Oklahoma, late loss on that. Texas, we've talked about, who were more
Texas.
than likely going to get in the Sweet 16, lost by 4 points on the road to them with our coach in a hospital bed, having a baby at that point. South Carolina was 7 points. Maybe not as close as the score indicate, but the fact remains that they made the cut. South Carolina was sweating that one out.
They
at
were.
the end. Beat UConn, which a lot of people's high on. Lost to LSU twice. Both of them were very, very close, though, as well. So I don't think this is your normal 5 seed in this
It's
Lady Vols
definitely
team.
not. I think we're only the 5 seed just because of how we closed out the end of the year. Like, that's just Tennessee. We were in really good position to have this game being played in Knoxville, but just the way the season played out, of, like Kim Caldwell said, her girls were tired. Like, there's just no doubting that. The kind of style offense and defense, or just basketball that they play, it's very tiresome. That's why we rotate as much as we do. And that's why we basically look like a hockey team making as many subs as we do. But it's one of those things. It's hard to keep that up for an entire season. So Tennessee did get completely worn out by the end of the season. They had some bad, really ugly loss, especially the one up in Kentucky. But overall, they had the great thing about the way the NCAA tournament for women's is set up is you do get a big break. Like, you get well over a week. And they got that. They rested up. They play USF. They absolutely kill them. Like, those poor fellers, like, they went back home with their head between their legs. And they come tonight on the road, essentially, against the home crowd. You have the big Ohio State fan, Mr. Nutt, or whatever his name is. He's in attendance. And you just essentially, you're killing them. You give them hope. And then you stick your hand right in their chest and rip their heart out again. And you send them home. Like, it's just, that's kind of how that was. So it was nice. That was some beautiful payback for what happened in football. So I'll definitely take it.
I will too. I love it. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get caught. We got a lot of comment. We got a bunch of we got 290 people. It's rules, man. Kyle says, I'm not gonna lie, third quarter scared the hell out of me. But
scared.
It was interesting, man. And Kim Caldwell did not call a timeout during that, did she not?
Maybe she called one. There was another one I was thinking maybe we need to fire off another one, and she kept it in the pocket. So props to her, because I was worried. Because that's one of those moments of it can get really out of hand really fast. So
yeah, she's
going to get a lot of criticism if that would have happened.
She must have taken a page where her husband works for Barnes, and Barnes doesn't like to call timeouts.
Yeah.
when things are going bad either. But most likely Texas tomorrow. The general says 37th Sweet 16 in program history. And man, I'll tell you, this is probably, can't speak for the Pat Summitt era, but ever since the Pat Summitt era, this might be the sweetest one in a while, because the fact that most of your roster left, your previous staff failed to recruit the high school ranks. They did hit some, I mean, Rakia Jackson was awesome, obviously. They hit on some good portal players. Cooper, for example, that they got her. And when she's on her game, she's really, really good, and probably ranks as one of the better players in women's college basketball. But the fact you had so many players depart, the previous staff, for lack of a better term, didn't do shit when it come to high school recruiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, then here you go. They brought in 5 transfers, 3 of them vital parts, 2 of them Latham plays an important role. Ajadele is more of kind of a get in at the end, but Spencer, Whitehorn, and Spearman are big time parts of this. She found players to fit the system. You mixed in what you had. I would say this is one of the better coaching jobs that's been done on the women's side of things in a long, long time. And the fact of the matter is, and I'll say this, and I know the coaching staff won't, I think you'll probably agree, multiple people will. A lot of this roster, they bust their hind ends on this. They work hard, they do their thing, but a lot of them in this system are kind of like a square peg in a round hole. But this staff has made it all work along the way as well. Let me hit some things. Let me hit this super chat here, and I'll get caught up on you guys here as well. Ryan Davis, what's up, dude? Says great weekend for the Vols. Baseballs win series against Bama. Basketballs beat UCLA to advance to the Sweet 16. The Lady Vols beat Ohio State to go to the Sweet 16.
Pretty good.
You summed it up, man. You summed it up. That's Tennessee athletics right there for you. And have we seen Tennessee Kentucky time on Friday yet?
No, I haven't seen it. I saw something earlier. I don't know. I kind of checked. I don't know if it's official, and I looked and stuff. I saw 9:40, but that's like I'm probably 5% sure on that, so I don't have any idea.
That's probably what you're hoping for, isn't it?
I mean, that's what I'm hoping for, because I won't get off work till after 10. So
yeah, hopefully it'll work out that way, so we can do the post game and celebrate.
Yep.
When Tennessee gets their revenge on Friday along the way as well. But let me see if I can hit some comments here as well. What do you think changed in that first quarter when 21-17 all of a sudden? I really felt the Lady Vols pretty much dominated the rest of the way. What did you think changed from that first quarter that enabled them to just, other than the craziness of the third quarter, what do you think changed that enabled them to really kind of take over the rest of that game?
I would say it was just more or less just settling in. Ohio State was making a lot of shots to start the game, and we kind of weren't. I think it was just realizing the fact that basketball game is going to take a long time. So Tennessee settled in. They did what they did best. They run fast. They play great defense. They get a bunch of steals. They force a lot of turnovers. I know I saw 22 turnovers were forced late in the game, so that could even be 23, 24. So that's a lot of turnovers to force. And whenever Tennessee's doing that, that's a huge thing as well. And then they rebounded the ball extremely well, getting offensive rebounds. And that leads to second chance points. And Tennessee playing the offense the style that they do, we're already making a high percentage of shots. Whenever you're getting offensive rebounds on the shots that you do miss, that just helps Tennessee out so much more. So Tennessee really just settled in. They committed to their game plan, and they executed it extremely well after essentially the first 5 or so minutes of the first quarter.
I thought they just flat out, I mean, you look at the quarters here, 21-17 Ohio State at the end of the first. Second quarter, Lady Vols outscored Ohio State 23-14. Your best, most evenly, and multiple. You said it, Kyle Beach said it, multiple. That third quarter was insane. 26-24. Lady Vols actually outscored Ohio State during that time, and Lady Vols were up as close as 20 points. And here Ohio State comes back. Then you get to the fourth quarter, and Lady Vols outscore Ohio State 16-8 in that quarter. And looking at, you mentioned rebounds here, 39-34 for the Lady Vols, 14 offensive rebounds. That's pretty big. I wish we had the live stats like we get for normal games. I keep complaining about this, but we don't get them because you mentioned the ESPN stats. They're pretty much the best ones that we have. The NCAA stats are crap on here. Don't really see much on that. I mean, you can compare them kind of the same way, but that's a big one. 39-34. 17 assists to 10, 15-8 steals, Lady Vols. Turnovers, Lady Vols forced 23 turnovers tonight. They only shot 20. Here's one that's kind of funny, but if you look at the output of it, Lady Vols, 10 out of 34, 29.4% from three-point range. Ohio State was 41.7, but they only shot 5 out of 12. They don't take a lot of three-pointers, so no. Yeah, we've talked about it on here, especially when we've had Jordan on as well. The great equalizer is the three-pointer, and Ohio State doesn't take enough of them. And, yeah, they made some runs here, but it is what it is. Very balanced scoring effort. Cooper 19, Spearman 17, Whitehorn 14, Spencer 10, Test Darby 9, Spear 7, Hollingshed 4, Latham 2, and that's all of your scoring on the night. And Spencer 6 assists to go along with just 2 turnovers. Pretty good night in that regard. I mean, this team, hopefully you get closer to that 3-point percentage like you saw against South Florida. But still, yeah, man. I thought, am I wrong in saying I feel like this was a pretty damn dominating performance tonight?
I would say so. I mean, they scored 8 points in the fourth quarter. That's just Tennessee had their way with them. I mean, they were dead women walking at that point. They were totally exhausted. Like it was murder at that point in the game. Like Tennessee just did what they did best and beat them down. And then there was nothing Ohio State could do. I mean, they had already accepted defeat with like minutes left in the fourth quarter. And in a like a 13-point game, whenever you can come back, 13 points in 3 minutes. Tennessee men's basketball did it a few years against Texas. They came back to like 17 in the last 4 minutes. So you can easily do it. Like it can happen. But Ohio State just essentially hit the Surrender Cobra and they called it quits because they were just gassed. And it was awesome to see. Because, I mean, you knew with like 4 minutes left, there was no chance that Ohio State was going to win that game.
No, I think the Lady Vols were just – any Ohio State runs I felt like tonight were because the Lady Vols self-inflicted.
That was, yeah.
I really felt like it was. I think this was a big one. The growth of Z Spearman, man, she has just kept getting better and better. I was really impressed against South Florida that she stepped back, hit 3 threes, and just looked fluid, man. Didn't look out of sync, didn't look crazy. Like you get some of these that maybe don't hit a high percentage and they don't look natural. It was kind of like Meshack last night when he got those 2 threes. They hit him. He was ready, and he looked good shooting them. It's the same with Spearman. When she does, Spearman has really come a long ways this year. And I think that's something with this program and this team is we keep seeing these ladies make progress. And, yeah, some of them are a little inconsistent, but I think some of you mentioned it earlier on here. The big thing with the women's tournament is you get 2 weeks off, basically.
Pretty much.
Kim Caldwell stated it. We needed it.
We did.
And this team has looked night and day different with that rest along the way. I'm sure a lot of you may second this one here. The Vol father says, I'll just let the words do the talking right here. I'm not going to – I had Ohio State – I had some pretty good ones come in here after that football game, but like Kentucky fans, they don't like to read a lot either. Another big thing. Potentially the best coach in the game when Kim gets her players. There's 5 of them coming in, and for sure next year that are big time players. And then this lady Vols staff and team will absolutely, I think, be in on some of your top players in the portal. They have a system to sell now, in which they did not last year. I do want to share it, just kind of hit this a minute, because that's a good point, Brad. Let's look at this roster. Here's what we got now. There they are, smiling all at you guys. So looking all pretty and stuff. Here we go. Jules, a senior. Puckett, senior. Whitehorn's a junior. She'll be back. Boyd, redshirt freshman. Which one of the seniors here is back? And I keep forgetting, is it Wynn, who was injured this year and she'll be back?
I'm not sure. I count eight
Either
eight
her
seniors
or Wells.
total.
I can't remember now. I know some of you guys in the comments can tell me on that one.
Yeah.
Spencer is a senior. Either Wynn or Wells. One of them's back. One of them is graduating. Spearman's a junior.
Michael said Wynn will be back next year.
Wynn. Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. So Wells will not be back. Spearman will be back. Edie Darby back. Now these are all contingent on nobody hits the portal. Strickland back. Ajadale out of eligibility. Tess Darby out. Latham back. Hollingshed out of eligibility. Cooper redshirt sophomore. You've got a lot of your better players coming back. Plus you add the 5 that you're adding. Plus you get to the portal. This, my goodness, man. This team next year could be crazy. How good they are right here. Mason Guest, member of the channel, says Kim Caldwell ball giveth. And take it away. Said, glad to see we pulled it out there at the end. This year's already been a major success. Totally agree with the recruiting. On to the Sweet 16. Kim Caldwell and her staff recruited the portal well, and they certainly hit the high school ranks really well. Did awesome with those as well. Did Ole Miss beat Iowa State?
Yep.
They hold on? Nice. Yep. So Tennessee and Ole Miss, only programs with I thought Duke's men's and women's team both won as well. I'm pretty sure Duke has them both in the Sweet 16 as well. But UCLA doesn't. USC doesn't. Ethan says, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to beat Texas Saturday. I don't either, man. I mean, played them on the road, only lost by 4. No doubt about it. I agree with this one as well. This, to me, in these 2 games, has felt like a much different Cooper. Because there were some times at the end, I don't know if she was just worn out. And I just kind of felt like she was just there. Don't mean anything bad by it. Here, these last 2 games, though, I feel like she's come out on a freaking mission. And really played like it, too. And really played well. I'm going to try to hit some of the I'm probably not going to be able to hit all of them, guys, but I'll hit what I can here. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. You want to talk about, I hate to make a joke on this because I'm looking out my window at a mountain on fire here right now, but you want to talk about something that's going to be on fire. Old Frank's going to be on fire on Friday for that Tennessee-Kentucky game. It's I cannot wait. I know the possibility that could happen.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's the competitor in me. That is, if I get knocked down twice, I want it again. And especially, I think Tennessee is still very, very capable. And we talked about it on the last live show after the Tennessee-Kentucky game. This Tennessee team can beat Kentucky.
Yeah. It's
not out of the realm of possibility. It's not like we're playing the Boston Celtics or something next week. We're ranked higher. they have what, 11 losses?
Yeah, they have a lot of losses.
Yeah, I'm not scared of them. We
They
just got to
played-
come show up.
They played 2 good games all year pretty much, and those 2 games were against us.
They played their best defensive games, those two.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Let's see. Kevin says, looks like the ladies will play next Saturday. My only thing, let's see. We know Tennessee plays Friday against Kentucky. Hopefully, Lady Vols are Saturday. My thing, I was planning on going to Columbia to watch the Vols in South Carolina baseball. If we're in there for the Elite Eight, that wins out on it. Tennessee basketball takes precedent at this point. Did South Carolina get a scare from Indiana today?
That's what they said.
I've seen a little bit of something about that, but I would love nothing more to see us get South Carolina and put them out. And you talked about it earlier, and this is the thing, people not knowing as much about the Lady Vols program. It's like here in South Carolina, a bunch of girls, and a lot of them that I've taught, they just won the state championship here down in North Augusta. Congrats to them. Great girls along the way. They don't know Pat Summitt or Lady Vols program, and that kind of bothered me. They know all about Dawn Staley in South Carolina, but that just goes to show you how down the program had been because, I mean, they're aware of it. I mean, one of my students I had, well, she's a 5th grader now. She's big into basketball, knows all about the SEC. Couldn't tell you about Pat Summitt, and that's just due to the program being down for a while. And they're not disrespectful. They're not bad kids or nothing. It's just tells you what the state of the program is right now. Yep, really difficult to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling every one of you right now, everybody can come call me out if I'm wrong. We are beating Kentucky on Friday. I'm not betting on it, but I'm betting with my mouth.
Yep.
Because my mouth can get me in trouble on here. I'm betting with my mouth. We are absolutely, positively beating Kentucky on Friday and moving on to the Elite Eight. Hopefully, we'll see Purdue at that point. I'm not one of these that subscribes to the theory of, oh, we couldn't beat them 2 times. I don't want them again. Nope. Maybe that's the coach in me. If you beat me twice, I want you again. And, man, we got a hell of a crowd in here. I'm trying to get called up here.
This is like 3rd game of a baseball or softball series, except this one actually truly means something. Like typically you can play this game and it's just trying to win this one for pride. This one's trying to win it for your whole entire state.
That's right. And it's 1-2. You're talking about the basketball, men's. Yeah. I mean, this is, I've seen this tonight. Will this be the biggest game in the history of Tennessee basketball?
No. I don't think so.
I think it's easy to over. There's a part of me says yes, but at the same time, we played Purdue and we played Michigan State to get to the Final Four. So
yeah, we played Sweet 16 games that are just as big as this one. It's just the opponents. The only reason why that you would think that this is such a huge game. I would definitely the Elite 8 game last year. That was by far the biggest game in Tennessee basketball history, in my opinion. Other than the last one, but I don't really have too much recollection of that one because I was too young. But
I mean, if you really want to put it into context, this game is theoretically no bigger than Florida Atlantic was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean it's the
same thing riding on it. The difference,
and that one was a little bit more important because we did have a Cinderella like red carpet, put on the silver shoes of it's there. All you got to do is you can make the Final Four. Like it was laid out perfectly for you, and you blew it. But don't want to get in that one too much. I'll remember me hitting my pantry in my dorm room.
Yeah, well, I got to run 10 polls for it. So, because I had a bet
Yeah.
with some players, because they were like, hey, we'll bet you polls at Florida Atlantic beats Tennessee. Like, I'll take that all day long. And, well,
they did
I
it.
had to pay up on it.
Watch Dusty May do it again.
What's that?
Watch Dusty May do it again with Michigan.
You called it.
I did. I said Michigan's gonna. They're my Final Four team. They're my Cinderella Final Four team. If you had to pick one,
they're in the same bracket. Do they play Auburn next?
Yeah, they play Auburn next.
They could put Auburn out.
Yep, they just have to have good guard play. Because one thing, Auburn for sure, they can't match up with their size. They can't match up with 2 7-footers.
Yeah, Broom and their team. Auburn played pretty good against Creighton. I was really kind of hoping UConn would beat Florida today. I was kind of pulling for UConn.
But then I was like, they won back to back. So, and then Dan Hurley is who Dan Hurley is, and just not too good of a human being. So,
oh gosh, he's the worst. Great coach. He's not very likable, I guess, unless you're I'm really pretty happy he did not go to the Lakers.
He's kind of like the women's version of UConn basketball. That coach too.
Oh, that's perfect.
I think they both fit that program pretty well, if I had to say.
2 peas in a pod, there for sure. Great coaches, both of them.
Yep. Just everything else is just not there.
Yeah.
What's important in life is not there.
Winning takes precedent at UConn for sure. But I mean, the thing of it is, they're both 2 A+ assholes, but you really don't hear much like really bad things going on, other than they're just
dirtbags.
Yeah, that's right. I want to hit somebody. There's some pretty good comments. What's up, A-Dub? Glad seeing you. They scared me for a second. When they come back in the third quarter, we pulled it out. Go Lady Vols. Brent Fisher, what's up, man? What a freaking weekend to be a Tennessee Vol fan. Baseball, basketball, Lady Vols. Let's effing go. Ethan, he picked them to make the Elite 8. A-Dub says Talasia almost with triple-double. Kim, what a great job first year. So proud of the coaches and players. Good things in the future. A-Dub was there for the Vanderbilt game. Said was
in Nashville.
Voice was gone in that game and then had that brutal ending.
Yeah.
To it as well. Charlie Daniels. Oh, Charlie, what's up? The devil went down to Georgia here.
Yes,
so
sir.
Just imagine both men and women in the Final Four. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. It's obviously never happened because the men have never made it, but it's first time for everything. Let's see. Yeah, I think the Lady Vol, I bet they'd like to have that Oklahoma game over again as well. Yep. Home winning streak snap tonight. That's pretty cool. I'll take that over hosting at home anytime. Lady Vols were a 3 seed, but that last week they played themselves into a 5 seed. And who knows, that may have worked out in their favor.
They kind of did.
To be honest, because you were, no matter how you played, you were going to be paired with either UCLA, South Carolina, Texas, or USC. And they gave Texas all they wanted this year. That could have worked out. It really could have worked out at that point. If Tennessee hits 50% against Kentucky on Friday, there ain't no way Kentucky's beating them.
No.
There's no way. And we got to keep Kentucky under 50% at the same time.
You know, here. Chaz is up to 41% on 3-point shots this year.
41%. I didn't know 41%. That. I do know he set the single season record, though.
Yep. 41% is just, that's absurd.
And I saw it today. It is, if he scores 18 or above, Tennessee's undefeated on the year. So that could be big for him. And it was another thing Kentucky, or I saw where Tennessee's in on Elijah Freeman. If you have not checked it out, I did a video on that today from that powerhouse Lincoln Memorial along the way. Hit the portal. He's actually rated top 10. Had some freaking Kentucky fan come in talking that, oh, you guys want who we want, you copy us. The actual dude from On 3 said right now Tennessee and Dayton are who he's hearing with them. And people asked about Kentucky. He said it seems to be down Kentucky's board, but yet that's why I want Kentucky so bad. It's because of their freaking fans. I want to beat them so bad next week. All right, we're all caught up here as well. Any final thoughts? We're going to wrap this thing up. I had a pretty cool show. Ton of fans tonight in here. Really appreciate you guys. Any final thoughts as we work toward wrapping this thing up?
I mean, I don't think you could have asked for a better weekend of Tennessee athletics. And I think if you had to make a sacrificial lamb of one of the sports, you would have gladly tossed in Tennessee softball to take the sacrifice this weekend. So somebody had to do it. Unfortunately, we couldn't have swept in baseball and or not swept, but won the series in baseball and softball, and then made the Sweet 16 in both men's and women's basketball. That would have been a little bit too much to ask for. So softball, thank you for your duties. Everyone else, great job. I mean, this has been an awesome weekend for sports wise, possibly one of the best in Tennessee history, if you wanted to look at it like that. I mean, that's just anytime you turn on Tennessee on your TV this weekend, they probably did really well. So overall, great weekend. Let's hopefully have an even better weekend next weekend.
What'd you say? Tell softball, just have patience.
Yep.
We only need you for a couple more weekends, hopefully. You might have to take one for the team next couple of weeks. But yeah, Tennessee baseball, I mean, we got off to Thursday night. Tennessee beat Wofford. Tennessee baseball lost to Alabama, but thankfully Alabama was stupid enough to poke the bear.
Yeah.
And teams have not figured out college baseball.
No.
You better wait till it's over to poke the bear with Tennessee baseball, or they'll get the last laugh. It goes back to last year as well. Going back to the SEC tournament, Mississippi State tried to poke it, and they woke up they woke up Mama and Papa Bear in that one. And no teams stood a chance the rest of the way. Baseball bounces back. Men's basketball takes care of business against Wofford, UCLA. Lady Vols take care of business against South Carolina and against previously undefeated Ohio State. Like I said, thank you to Lady Vols softball. You guys took one on the chin. We don't normally want that, but if somebody had to, that was the one this weekend. Great weekend for Tennessee Athletics. Tennessee Athletics is rolling right now. I mean, even in my lifetime, too, people say it's the golden era. There's never been a point, even in my lifetime, where all of the sports have been this good at the same time. There's normally been like one or the other that stood out over the others in terms of men's, and in terms most of the time growing up, football was good. Lady Vols basketball was good. Now, I mean, it's continuous along the way. And it's really cool to watch. And I can't imagine from your perspective actually being on campus.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Being able to take in so much of this as well. But we've got some days off. The transfer portal opens tomorrow. And that is, in terms of content to cover, some of my favorite along the way. And so I'll try to stay as much up to date on that as possible, because Tennessee basketball is going to be very, very active in the transfer portal with as many needs as they have. But I really appreciate Kerry. He was out. Then he texted me. He's like, send me that link tonight. So really appreciate him joining me tonight on here. He's Kerry. This is Frank. This is the House of Orange. You guys have a great rest of your evening. And most certainly not least, go Vols.